Hello and welcome back to another episode or show, whatever we're calling this, of Aspiring Creator, where we just talk about all the behind the scenes stuff of running a, I don't know whether you'd call it a successful YouTube channel anymore, but we'll get more into that in a minute. Okay, so again, we just have a list of stuff that I write down between the last time we record each of these shows and just talk about all the behind the scenes stuff that does happen with this kind of content creation, YouTube type thing. Starting off with this week, we have had 2 failed videos this week, which is just a nightmare. The reason why I'm recording this is because I kind of got to the stage where I don't really know what else I should be doing this week. So we have 2 monitor reviews booked in. One was quite a big one. One was another. Well, potentially two quite big monitor reviews. So we started off on the first one, unboxed the monitor on Monday this week. Started scripting, running through all our tests and processes and everything, and then came in on Tuesday. So came in yesterday. Came to switch it all on and get going with things, and the monitor wouldn't switch on. So cool. So I shot a fair bit of B-roll footage the day before when I was trying to capture all the frames per second and the design and stand and those kind of things, but it's not enough to make the rest of the video because there are certain tests like the color accuracy and brightness tests that we didn't really capture. So we emailed the brands, and they are now posting out another monitor for us. They're going to return the other one to try and figure out why that one's broken. But that now puts that video back by a week, which is frustrating when you're trying to manage the finances, because that was a chunk of money for a dedicated review, which now we're not going to get for another week, maybe another 2 weeks, because that's been pushed back. So then I was like, cool, okay, well let's move on. Let's do the next video, which was also another monitor review video. We're doing a lot of monitor reviews at the moment, and I think there's just a lot of confusion in what happened with this. So basically, I found out they've sent the wrong monitor. So I won't give out any names or anything yet because that's not very fair. But between the company we're talking with, the agency that we're working with that negotiated the brand deal, and ourselves. So what happened was I responded to an email trail that started an email chain that started at the end of last year. So that email had a subject of a particular model of monitor. And then because I then continued the conversation this year, a few weeks or a month ago or so, just saying hey, checking in, have you got anything else coming up? And their response was, yes, we have this new thing that's coming out. And, we negotiated and agreed terms and blah, 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 signed contracts. And what basically happens is, even though in the email, we've basically been told that, we're going to be one of the first to cover this new unreleased monitor. But the contract that was signed, so the agency then probably saw the name of the subject of the email, and so wrote the contract based on the old product that we were discussing last year. The brand then just messaged one of their colleagues and said, hey, can you just ship this monitor out to them? That person also didn't check, and again, probably looked at the email subject and went, cool, I'm going to ship them that monitor. So just shipped us the old monitor, essentially. And so the old monitor turned up. I then opened it, went to look at it, went, this is the old monitor. This isn't a new one that hasn't been reviewed or released yet. And so I've sent a few messages back to them today and through the agency. It's no one's fault. It's just all of us missed everything. Between the agency and me signing, we signed the contract as well. And the guy who shipped the product, nobody noticed that it wasn't meant to be it wasn't the new product, essentially, other than the original email conversation that we had. So there's that. So that's the second video we tried shooting, and we can't shoot that either. So I'm currently waiting to hear back, because contractually speaking, we are contracted to make a review on that monitor, but it's an old monitor. And so I don't know legally where we sit, where there's, the discussion was the new monitor, but the contract is the old monitor. I don't know where that sits and how, which, verbal agreement overrides legal agreement. I'm not too sure, but so we're going to find out how that all works. So that was fun number one. So now that's essentially 2 weeks worth of videos, because there was me thinking we were going to get ahead of ourselves and I can shoot next week's video this week. But maybe not. And then we're just going to I'll tick this off as well, because looking around and looking at what the views are very, very up and down at the moment on YouTube. I'm hearing a lot of people talk about this. The more established creators are having issues with their views dropping. It seems to be a great time for new people to the platform, because YouTube is actively boosting views for young baby new starter channels and very, very small micro channels. And we probably sit in this, we're not big 1 million+ subscribers, but we are firmly established. It's 300,000 subscribers or what have you. Definitely very firmly established channel now. But it's made me think about the amount of work that goes into these videos. So, taking our monitor reviews, for example, we do very in-depth reviews. Like for me to make a monitor review video, it is like we get the monitor in, we unbox it, we open it, we test it. We go through we try and shoot as much of that as we do it. So we're like documenting everything as we go through the testing, and then I will script the video and assemble all the test results into a some form of script, and then we'll shoot the A roll to make sure we've got like the story and the explanation of the review, and then we'll go back through the script and just see if we need any extra footage to fill the gaps or cover things that we haven't actually shot because it just happened and we didn't capture it at the time, whatever it might be. And so that then gets uploaded, sent to editing. Editing will then spend a week editing that and putting it together. And so there's a long process there to put that video together. And whereas I have seen other creators who have kind of done, they do the same thing, they do monitor reviews, but they will literally just sit there, have, the clip on mic. And when they're unboxing it, for example, they'll just sit there on camera and unbox it and be like, cool, just going to unbox this now. And, oh, hey, look, it comes with this cable and this cable. There is this cable. This is how long they are, all those kind of things. And they do it like there and then. And as they're cutting their video together, it's a much simpler process because they're not shooting a load of B-roll. They're just literally talking over the B-roll whilst they're shooting it, if that makes sense. So all they're doing is like joining the clips up, maybe cutting out mistakes or, shortening it and where it needs to be and those kind of things. But going through that sort of workflow could mean that our monitor review videos, for example, rather than it taking over a week to produce them, we could do them in like a day or two because you're literally just, go through the motions, getting the clips as you go, and then you just assemble it in the edit. There's no like very fancy editing, cinematics and those kind of things. But then like to that matter, I want to be proud of the videos we make. And it feels like I wouldn't, I couldn't be proud of those videos because like they're easy to make. But with that said, there's being proud of your work and there's also like just being efficient and just, I don't know what the phrase is, but like knowing which way the wind blows. Like at the end of the day, YouTube doesn't really care about the quality of the videos. It's all in the packaging. And it's like YouTube, specifically YouTube, I guess, is like 90% packaging. So it's 90% based on thumbnail and title. If it's an intriguing thumbnail and an intriguing title, something that's going to get them to click, then you kind of won them at that stage. And then only 10% of it really is in the editing, the video itself, and those kind of things. So then why are we spending 90% on the video and like 10, or not even 10, like 5 to 1% on the packaging and the thumbnail and the title and those kind of things? So it feels like we should be flipping the scene here and maybe actually we work on the packaging and the titling a lot more. And then maybe there is a hit to the video production. But then again, and this is the whole like thing that's the hamster wheel that's doing in my mind of like, but then we look at the creators that are, overly successful on the platform, I guess. And you notice when, they've got such good quality in their videos. And we know that brands pay attention to that because brands see good quality and like premium quality content and want to be associated with those creators. So those creators then get to go on and work with other brands. So there's like these two different approaches. You can either we could either rein it back, spend more time on the packaging and maybe do better with views and performance and those kind of things. Or we can, stay the course, focus on our like editing and cinematics and those kind of things. I even bought like freaking like smoke haze machines and I've got like a handheld hazer because I thought, oh, that'll add some like cinematics to our videos. But at the end of the day, most people watching the videos don't care. They're not going to care about that kind of stuff. It's, again, the challenge is getting them to click and watch the video first. So more time should maybe possibly be spent on that. And it's like compounds even more because like this morning, for example, like wake up, I look at my phone and like the brand emails that come through to the inbox, they're, 99% of them are lowballing, rubbish, junk, brands that don't have budget or looking for freebies and those kind of things. So it's difficult when you're waking up to, I think one of the emails this morning was like a brand saying, hey, we'd love to work with Pete, but we've run his like average views through our, we've analyzed his channel in detail and the average views are 33 or 35,000 views over the last whatever weeks or months, whatever it was. And therefore we can only value the channel or value a video at like $1,000. Whereas like, we need a lot more than that per video to keep the wheel turning and like, pay for everything and lights and gear and people and all that kind of stuff. But then on the flip side, so like you wake up to that and think, oh, like the channel's dying. Like, what are we going to do? Like, we need to change strategy. Do we do more shorts, less longs? Like, all that kind of thing. But then in the meantime, we are currently in the midst of negotiating like a $35,000 dedicated video deal. We are, I think they're going to negotiate down, but like another like 20 grand, like monitor / TV kind of video that's coming up potentially. There's another like audio that might be coming up. That's another like $15,000 to $20,000. So there's a lot of like big stuff that's coming through, and it's such a contrast. It's so difficult to like. It's like running any business. Like there are ups and downs, and the downs. There's a lot of downs because you just keep getting pummeled by these brands that are just low value, don't value you, don't care. But it's easy to get like combine that with like the views that are like getting impacted and low views if you would class them as low views. Some of our recent videos just didn't perform as well as we'd thought they would. We did there was an AI video, and again, like this goes back to like we should have spent more time on the packaging of how we're going to package it, and not be like a last minute decision, and the thumbnail packaging and those kind of things. But that didn't perform as well. We did like the Apple monitor review, and it's performed okay, but we kind of assumed that it would have done like well over 100,000 because we're one of very, very few channels that have gone in depth in testing it. Whereas like, and I know, fair play to Marquez, he's been doing it for many, many years, and he's earned his right at the position he's in right now. But like when Marquez can make a video that just goes like, hey, this is the new monitor, and do like a monitor review without even looking at the panel itself, and he just comments about like, oh, it's got a Thunderbolt 5 on it this year, and like that's kind of it. It's very high level gloss over the specs and features, and reads it off the website, and like he can do like 2 million views versus someone that's actually going through the motions of like, well, let's check it does what it says it can do, and we're struggling to get like 20, 30, 40, 50,000 views. So like it's frustrating. But again, like we've got this big stuff coming through, and it's just going through these swings and roundabouts, trying to like, you kind of just want it flat. Like just, okay, if we can just like bring the crappy deals up and bring the big deals down and just have it level, for me is like just a nice place to be. But you do have to kind of go through those moments where you're just like, oh crap, we've got really nothing coming in, and then this big thing comes in. He goes, oh, cool, that's us good for like another month, and then you kind of wait for you got the low value stuff, and then like another big thing, and it just like happens and depends on things. Anyway, let's move on with the next thing. Claude Code. What have we got? So I've been a bit obsessed with Claude Code recently, and I know that like my YouTube and social media feeds are like obsessed with Claude Code. It's just become my whole feed now. And so like for those who aren't aware, who haven't been listening in so far, I've been using Claude. I've actually been using Claude Cowork, although I've recently moved over to Claude Code to develop a load of apps, I guess, if you call them that, for my business, YouTube content creation business. I'm currently at this stage where I've replicated a lot of my Monday.com like project management system, but through a web interface, which is essentially free to run. We've got a brand database, which just helps us keep on track and up to date with all the brand stuff that's going on, which is really, really useful. That is like really useful and valuable to us as well. I designed a tool that would track channels, and I called it We Buy Views, or we Buy Any Views, I don't know. And it was meant to like analyze channels and try and detect which channels were buying views on their videos, which then developed into, well, actually, if we know which channels are buying their views, can we actually turn this into like a strategy tool for ourselves where it can actually analyze these channels, disregard the stuff that is like bought views, and then give us good data for what we can work with like, oh, hey, by the way, there's this particular type of video that is actually working really well across multiple channels right now, but disregarding the bought views, because this is the thing that I struggle with competitive research. You find ideas and go like, oh, that would be so good for our channel, it fits perfectly, and then you find out that it tanks in your channel, and then you realize it's because the people that did get like 2 million views on the video bought their views and didn't actually get like organic views. So like that's developed into something else. There's a contract tool in there as well, and what I'm currently building out is a like a, I don't know what you call it, like a producer's view in the project management system, where like we know that so let's take a typical week. So on Monday, I will Script and shoot the integration for that week's video. So if it's a sponsored video with an integration, I'll script and shoot it on Monday, which then means on Tuesday, the editor can start editing that and deliver the integration on the Tuesday. On the Tuesday, I'm then shooting the main video. And then on Wednesday, I carry on shooting the B-roll for that video, which means on Wednesday onwards, the editor can start editing. They've got till Friday to deliver like the first draft of it, which means if it is the dedicated video for a brand, we've still got the weekend to send it to the brand for approval. And then we come back on a Monday, we've got Monday to make the changes, and then we rinse and repeat. And that's like the process. Now, we do have currently 2 editors, which means that if there is overlap, it's okay because each editor can like take it in turns. So there's extra days to like make changes. We've also got shorts to add in there as well. So there's gaps for like extra content. But because we know that that's the process and how it works and how many days stuff takes, we can then plot that down on a calendar. So each day, everyone knows what they're doing, like which video they're working on, what they should be doing, when they should be submitting drafts, even to like the stage of like what I'm doing and scripting the videos, what Matt's doing, and like which videos need to have its title and thumbnail and packaging research done before I start scripting, so we know which angle we're scripting it from, like just knowing all that stuff. And I've been able to, I'm just looking at the like the Monday dashboard that I've developed basically, and I've been able to pull in some really, really cool things. So for example, on once the video is posted, it can pull in the thumbnail from YouTube. It brings in all the title and the description and everything as well. It also pulls in the statistics directly into my dashboard, so I don't have to go away to find it. What I'm then looking to develop is actually, maybe 30, 60, 90 days after the video's live, it can generate and automatically generate a campaign report. So it can then, pull in all the stats and views and the retention and even clicks and conversion data. So that's like one feature I'm looking to build out. It also has for short form videos, it can then track and gives me a little flag for when the video has been posted on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So that's like keeping track of that as well. And it's just useful. It's so easy. And like to be able to make this work the way I want it to work, it's just a quick chat with Claude. It pushes out some updates and it's done. It digs into our Gmail inboxes to find the emailed conversations with each brand that's sponsoring that video. So if we need to jump into that email chain, we can just click a button and jump into it. It's tracking brand deals and values and like all this kind of stuff, which is pretty awesome. And then I've also, the last app I added to that, I've also built out the affiliate platform, which currently is just aggregating all the affiliate data into one place. So it's using API calls for all the big platforms we use. Amazon is an interesting one because Amazon has just changed the fact that like you can no longer download a report from Amazon and see exactly what items you've sold on what dates. It basically lumps it all together and says, hey, this month you've sold this many items and this is your commission, which is pretty crap because if you are really focused on Amazon affiliate sales, you now have no idea what products you're selling, when you're selling them. And so you have no data to work with. You just go like, cool, I've sold some products. Amazing. Thanks, Amazon. So we've got that built into an affiliate dashboard. Again, the only data we have is like X products sold per month. But for other platforms like Impact and Awin and Rakuten and those other things, it pulls in the data. And then my plan will be to then link all this together. So again, if we're doing campaign reports, we can pull in actual conversion data, do like link shortening and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that is pretty awesome. My only problem is I'm crushing through Claude credit. However, I will say I've spent maybe like $180 on Claude credit this month. I don't think I've used it quite yet, but I will quite happily pay $200 a month for developing some bespoke software of my own that I can develop and add features into like at a minute's notice. I can just keep a window running in the corner, and whilst I'm doing my normal work here, I can just be like, oh, hey, can you just build out this feature? Go. I can carry on doing, scripting, shooting videos, whatever it is. And then it's just building it in the background. It's like just super convenient, hugely, hugely valuable. Just throwing this in here because it is happening. I am going on a press trip tomorrow to a place I'm not allowed to talk about yet, just in case. I don't know yet. Super excited. This is going to be one of the quickest and furthest press trips I've done. So I'm flying about 13 or 14 hours, maybe guess, I don't know, in the comments down below where I might be going to. So I'm flying for a long trip. I'm landing. I'm staying there for one day, and then I fly back again. It is, and it's no, the jet lag is going to be very interesting. And basically, when I fly back, it's going to be like Monday morning here in the UK, and I'm going to, I was going to get straight back into shooting this video about the monitor that we can now not shoot a video on because it's the wrong monitor. But maybe the replacement monitor will have turned up. we'll see. I don't know. But it's going to be one of the quickest press trips I've been on. But I'm going to see some new products. I'm going to meet a lot of the team out there that we've been speaking to and working with for like many, many years now. So, and it's a country I want to go to. So I'm very, very keen to go and experience it, even if it is for like just a day. Speaking of, okay, I'm just going to go back here because this is in my notes. So the Apple Monitor video and the AI video is interesting because, again, like you're trying to figure out, like one of the things I've been trying to figure out and work on the basis of is how do we get more impressions on YouTube? Because the more impressions you have, the more views you'll get because YouTube is surfacing your video and showing your video to more people. So what you really want to focus on is how do I get the most impressions possible? And from what I understand, and YouTube's documentation, the metrics at which YouTube kind of judges your video as gives it more impressions is based on if you have a high average view duration multiplied by the click-through rate. So basically, that's people that are clicking on it are actually staying and watching the video. If that's high, then that will then boost the impressions and show it to more people, and like more people will watch it. The click-through rate and the average view duration works, and like it just keeps going. Those two videos have got very good AVD and CTR, but they are not performing. So, like again, it's one of these other situations where you don't know what the rules are. So, like, how do you play a game when you don't know the rules? This is like the fundamental problem. And I know a lot of like the big viral creators, the big people getting lots of big views, basically turn around and say like AVD and CTR is rubbish. Like all of our viral videos have rubbish AVD and CTR. It's like, well, cool. Like, what should we be doing then? So it's that whole like, and you work on your retention, but then like the retention goes through as for the more views you get. So like it is just super difficult. So I'm just throwing that in there because it's in there. And then so just before this, I was watching a video by Random Frank P, who is he's one of the OG like YouTubers. He's been around for many, many years, doing his like top tech for under $100 and that kind of stuff. He did a lot of gaming stuff. He released his own gaming mouse, and he's kind of disappeared off the platform for a long time. And he watched, he made like a 45-minute just sat in his back garden, chilling out and chatting about kind of what we're doing here, just chatting about like behind the scenes stuff. And he was basically saying that he's struggling and running into, I guess, challenges, because very similar challenges to ourselves. Like YouTube performance right now is just, the views have tanked, like more so for him. He was saying like, he's at over 2 million subscribers and he barely gets scrapes like 20,000 views on a video. And it's because the platform is not surfacing his videos to his subscribers anymore. And again, like we have a similar thing. Like you look at the percentage of viewers watching your videos that are subscribers versus non-subscribers, and it is like 90-something% non-subscribed that are watching the videos, which is good because it's, surfacing your videos to new people that are not subscribed and gives them the opportunity to subscribe. But does that also mean it's not actually showing your videos to your actual subscribers? And this is what he was saying, is that, most big creators, that if most creators, if you're following a creator, do you see the videos they post? Because a lot of people I'm following, I do not see their videos when they're posted, unless like my way of browsing YouTube right now is I go to the YouTube homepage, same on TV as well. I'll go down to the left-hand side, scroll down to subscribers or subscribe channels, whatever it's called, subscribed. So if I go to youtube.com, left-hand side, I click on subscriptions. And then even then in subscriptions, it just says latest at the top. Then it says most relevant. And then underneath that, do I finally get to like the chronological order of videos being posted? I see 4 of them, and then I get a stack of shorts that I don't care about. Then I see, and then it goes into like the normal grid of here's all the latest stuff in chronological order. That's like how I watch YouTube. I want to look at the list of videos that have been posted and go through, scroll through the new ones since I last watched YouTube, which is, the last day's worth, or if I go away on holiday, it's a few days worth. I don't want to deal with this like latest and most relevant. Like I don't want YouTube to decide what's most relevant to me and the latest stuff. Like the latest stuff is like the latest stuff. Like just give me that view of all the videos in chronological order. So like YouTube is not showing. And if I go to my homepage, there is 2 videos from my subscription feed So, okay, on my homepage, I'm seeing 4 long form videos. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 short form videos. 4 long form, 6 short form, 4 long form, and then more long form. So it's again, more shorts than long form videos. And the chances of those being people you're following are like way, way less. So the ability for you as a creator to get to your subscribers is just feels like it's been diminished over and over again. Like Apple does something like this. I'm looking at an Apple video here on my screen. Google just keeps making changes that just seems to deprioritize the connection between creators and subscribers. So that is like something that's I'm very, very mindful of and aware of. That's you need to figure out somehow. And going back to like what Random Frank P was saying, YouTube seems to be prioritizing new creators. So again, looking at this homepage feed now, there are, because I've got like little plugins that do things here. There are channels on here that are showing up that I've never watched before. And yet, look, this one's got 15 subscribers, and there's like a MagSafe charger in here, but it's still like surfacing their video, which again is great. It's great for like new creators, and it's like the perfect time for a new creator to create a channel. But when like your videos as established creators with an audience that has an interested audience that's chosen to subscribe to you, your video is getting replaced by this like random channel with like 10 subscribers or what have you. There is no solution. This is like obviously just, YouTube obviously wants to work in their benefit of finding the best stuff that you want to watch. And you as a creator obviously want to make videos that you hope your subscribers will want to watch. But it's difficult when the YouTube algorithm is not surfacing your videos to your actual subscribers that would be interested in your video if they saw it. And that's what he was saying, like this whole subscriptions feed is vanishing. He did actually mention that he's thinking of starting a whole new channel to benefit from this whole boosted views thing, because again, like it's very, very easy to spin up a new channel, put out very, very high quality produced content that you would have posted on your main channel anyway, but then benefit from like YouTube basically boosting that channel because that's what they're doing at the moment. They're just pushing this new channel content out. And also, of course, you've got YouTube like prioritizing YouTube Shorts and trying to force people to make short form videos, even though lots of us don't want to make short form videos. But then going back on what I said a few weeks ago, last week, the week before, we've got a stage where potentially we might be looking at maybe dropping long form videos for a couple of weeks and just doing shorts for a couple of weeks, so we can, what if we can push out 1, 2, 3 shorts a day, try different formats, test them on all platforms, see which performs, see which doesn't work, just see what happens. And maybe we can learn short form videos by doing that and see if it's worthwhile doing it. See what the impact on the channel is for 2 weeks by just posting short form videos every day. Do we get more subscribers? Do we get more views? Does that bring in more brand deals? There's so many other things that could happen because of that. But then we don't want to get like, I'm saying that, and then, like I say, we've got these like high value brand deals that are coming through. Of course, we're going to say yes to those high value brand deals because it brings the money through and keeps the wheel turning. And like this thing with YouTube, it always feels like, what if next month's quiet? So you have to take those brand deals when they're coming in. When I say that, you have to take the brand deals. So I said no to like a $25,000 brand deal because it wasn't a good fit for the channel. So you still need to know when to say no, because I don't want to punish my subscribers. Again, going back to, it is inherently more and more difficult to get your face in front of your own subscribers. So even more so than ever now, if you are creating content that rewards you very well financially, but it's not actually a good fit for your audience, I feel like that's going to do even more damage to your channel and your reputation and your viewers. Because if your viewers, do finally get served one of your videos and it's just like an ad showcase for something they're not interested in, great that you got paid. But what's that going to tell YouTube is that like even your own subscribers don't care about your videos you're making. And maybe this is like one of the things YouTube's trying to combat is just channels making crap that no one cares about, but because they're getting paid well, then, why bother showing that to people? Because they don't enjoy watching it. And this is the whole like YouTube trying to work off of metrics that's how happy are people once they've watched your video. And that's something we've definitely been working on for a while. And again, that's like the AVD times the CTR, because it means they've clicked it and they've watched all of it. So that's a good indication. Positive comments, all those kind of things, lots of likes. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do there. But yeah, it's really challenging. And even that, like starting a whole second channel is one that's like an interesting thought. Again, like maybe we should be spending less time making the videos and we just go down to like a more simple format. But could we do like without like causing problems. Could we do our normal approach? And then actually, before we pack everything away, I just get a phone out, or maybe use the little DJI Pocket Osmo thing, and just shoot a 10, 20, 30-minute video, handheld, single take, of the product. Be like, hey, this is the new monitor, it does this, let's just check the brightness, and basically do a one-take review of that monitor or that product, and post that on a whole new channel, completely unedited, like super basic thumbnail, and just see what it does, because who knows, like chances are it'll outperform like the main channel content. But it is like an interesting problem to have. It's certainly an interesting time to be a creator. And I'm going to leave it there. So thank you so much for watching and listening. Again, if you have any questions, do leave them down below in the comments down below on YouTube. Send me a DM. I haven't actually checked this week if there were any questions, but I will try and do that next week. Otherwise, I might do the next one. No, probably not. I might do the next one from the place where I'm going to, but it's only a few days away, so that I'm not going to have enough to talk about at that time. So for now, I'll leave you to it. Thanks so much. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.